I'm also Scorch the Clown. The most evil, sadistic, cruel, fire-breathing, fire-eating, human staple gun, human pincushion, sideshow circus freak you'll ever meet. How about 100 staple gun hits to the stomach the other night? It's just all part of the fun, all part of the games, all part of the madness, all part of the joy. In some burlesque shows, some violent wrestling shows, and I do kids' parties.
I am probably the last person you'd expect to be a pastor, but I didn't fit into any church I could find, so we started one. A church for the rest of us, right in the heart of Sin City. The religious leaders of Jesus' day, the Pharisees, represented God because of their holier-than-thou, judgmental attitude, because of their hypocrisy, and because they heaped burdens on people that they couldn't bear. They actually ended up turning people away from God instead of attracting them to Him. Here's the problem. Today, the church can often do the same. In fact, it's interesting when surveys are done of people who are not Christians and asked about what they perceive of Christians, often some of the top words that come up are holier than thou, judgmental, and hypocritical. For instance, there's a book called Unchristian, written by a guy named David Kinnaman. Kinnaman has done surveys for the Barna Group, and he spent a long time studying young people between the ages of 16 and 29 to find out their perceptions of the Christian faith. He discovered that most non-believers have an overwhelmingly negative perception of Christians. In fact, 87% of the people surveyed said that Christians are judgmental. 85% of the people surveyed said that Christians are hypocritical. And the result is that people who need to know God is for them, they don't know, and they stay away from church. And they're staying away in droves. Did you know that the number of adults who do not attend church nearly doubled from 1991 to 2004? It's now down to about 17% of Americans are in church on any given weekend. Here in Las Vegas, it's closer to 5%. And if the present trend continues, the percentage of the population who attend church is expected to be half of what it is today by 2050. That's exactly what experts predict, that by 2050, about 8% of Americans will go to church. But what they're seeing is exactly the same path as many European countries took, where it was a little over 50% of people who went to church, but today, it's a little under 5%. People are staying away from church, and it keeps them from Jesus. Man, that is heartbreaking. Right? Because as Christians, we're supposed to be showing people Jesus, drawing people to Jesus, but too often what we're doing is the exact opposite. So we say we're church for people who don't like church. You know, we do things in a different way. We try to have fun. We try to keep it very relevant. And you do church in a different way, in a different kind of city like Las Vegas, you end up attracting a different kind of people.
What you need is what you see. Manifest my destiny. Now it's right in front of me. I don't need nothing. Give it to me.
There was an ad in I think it was probably the newspaper, like Craigslist and the internet was not that. I'm aging myself. It was like in the newspaper and it said, beverage models. The job interview consisted of putting on a uniform and standing there and turning around and saying, are you okay with exuding sex appeal? And as a side function of your job, you'll be delivering cocktails 99% of the time. So I was like, okay, I'll do this. Like, it sounds like a fun kind of thing to do. And I started doing that. And like a couple weeks in, they said, oh, we're starting this whole new thing. We're gonna have entertaining blackjack dealers. And all of a sudden I was on the strip impersonating different celebrities and dealing blackjack. I want to say abuse, but there's a better word for it. But there was just a certain amount we were expected to take. Okay, if you want to be doing this job, this is just part of the job. This is Vegas, have a thick skin, don't take it personally. It's just like hearing slot machines in the background. You just are able to tune it out at some point.
Oh, baby, yeah!
Hey.
Hey, Vince, can I talk to you for a few minutes?
Absolutely, man. Come on in. What's up?
Well, Friday night we had a show. We had a few burlesque dancers in the show, and ended up having a shared dressing room.
Guys and girls shared.
Guys and girls together, dressing, undressing. I really love my job. I love doing things that just make people's jaws drop. Absolute asinine stuff that just makes people stop and have to watch it like a car wreck. But stuff that used to happen after shows that are continuing to happen after shows that are no longer part of my Christian beliefs are kind of weighing heavy on me right now. I ended up doing the right thing, chased the guys out of the room. I ended up stationing myself at the door so nobody could get in while the girls were changing.
That's good.
It's good. I think it was interpreted the wrong way, though.
What do you mean?
I think some of the girls got the wrong idea about it. And, well, it seems like the more I try to be like Jesus, the more women want to sleep with me.
Okay.
I've had probably every single thing happen to me while I was at work, and management doesn't care. It's awesome. I think after I came to Verve, things just started to change with me. To a certain extent, I would fight back. I think I just started to value myself more, where I just thought, this is not okay. I've been about to get on stage in a bikini top. Someone pulled the string. Awesome again. Someone tried to carry me out of the casino. I've had a guy swoop his hand right up into my underwear. And yeah, nothing happens to these guys because they're spending a lot of money, and management's just like, well, whatever. What do you expect? Dress like that. Like, so, see, just talking about it is seriously, like, this is my hardest thing about getting to work, is just getting psyched up to actually make it in the door, because I just feel like it basically feels like at any given, like on any given night I could get raped and it would be my fault. So, see, this is what happens. I'm freaking out. I gotta get out of here.
There's some really pretty women out there, Vince, and the temptation's still there, and I'm only human. And
Sure.
I mean, it's hard. It's really hard.
So what are you thinking, man?
I'm really concerned. What do you think? Should I quit my job?
I'm in full. I'm in full. No, I'm dizzy. I'm like, I need to speak to table games manager, please. I cannot drive right now. I cannot drive right now. I'm so sorry. I've wanted to know Jesus, but I just haven't ever felt accepted. I thought the devil was gonna get me, or this mean God who was like up there with his staff was gonna be like, she's a terrible person. I remember sitting in Catholic church and getting in trouble constantly just for whatever. So I just remember thinking this is just something you had to get through, and I couldn't wait till I was 18. I didn't have to go anymore. I wanted to run to love and experience and nature and just so many other things that were just kind of different. I think I was looking for something, and I felt like I was kind of trying to make the most of what I was given. I've always felt like I've had this invisible safety net that's just kind of helped me.
After my first divorce, I was praying for a lot of things, wasn't getting any answers. I just stopped. I said, if you're not gonna help me out, I want nothing to do with you, and I walked away from religion. I often describe myself as either agnostic or atheist, but I always knew that God was there, so I would have had to have been Satanist. I would joke that I'm going to hell, but at least I'm getting a corner office with air conditioning. After several years of being pestered by my sister to go to church, just out of the blue, I accepted her invite to come here, but it's because I had ulterior motives. I planned on coming here and just destroying the place. I was gonna wait until the pastor started speaking. I was gonna throw a chair at the stage. I was gonna yell. I wanted to be the first person that they carried out of here, and I also wanted to shut the place down.
If you ask people who spent time with Jesus, what words do you think they'd use to describe him? Words like love and grace, joy, compassion. What if the church today became known for what Jesus was known for? What if we were known for love and joy and compassion and grace? What if the characteristics that marked Jesus marked Christians today? Man, people would actually get to encounter Jesus through us, and they would be drawn to him.
I'd got this probably 5x8 card that said, God for the rest of us. God for the tattooed, God for the strippers, God for the homeless. I remember thinking, this doesn't sound like church. This can't be a real Christian church, because real Christians don't like gay people, don't like tattooed people, don't like interracial couples, don't like this, and okay, maybe this is for me.
When I first walked in the door, there were people my age. There was music that I listened to playing in the lobby. It wasn't God music. I felt comfortable right off the bat, but I still kind of had this plan in mind.
I came in and the topic or sermon that day was God for the children. And I remember just thinking, like, is it okay that I'm liking this? Is it okay that I feel good here? Like, because I was so prepared to just be like, this is ridiculous.
I listened to the sermon and it just hit me. The next thing I knew, service was over and I was walking out, and I completely forgot what I'd come here to do.
And then Vince says, oh, if you want to talk after the service, I'm here to talk at the Velcro bar. And I remember like running up to him and saying, this is the first time I felt love in a church ever, which is like a really crazy concept probably for people who have their whole lives, but for me, I just never felt it.
I actually wrote Vince, asked if it was real and what they were doing, or if this was all just a put on, and all he could tell me was come back. Again, it hit me. Just something that was said connected with me. And after the third week, I said, look, I need to talk to somebody. This is hitting me in a way I wasn't expecting it to.
I just remember him saying, like, God has so much love for you. And I just remember thinking, I never knew that. Like, I thought I had to qualify. Because that's what I'd grown up with. Like, you're never good enough, not even for God.
And by the time it was over, I decided to get baptized and come back to God.
And I felt that for the first time, and it just opened up a whole new life for me.
Love you.
Hey, so thanks for meeting together. I talked to both of you, and I thought, man, you have kind of similar issues going on at work, different but similar, and I thought maybe it would be helpful or interesting just for the three of us to talk.
Sandy and I both do a lot of things in our job, show-related, that people would definitely not consider Christian.
So Vince called us in to just kind of go over what was going on in our lives.
Why don't you just talk a little bit about some of the stuff you're struggling with at work?
Well, you know, I've got several different shows. I've got the burlesque, so I've got the sexual tension and stuff to deal with there. Being around burlesque dancers is a real big temptation for me. I like to call it the Gene Simmons syndrome. Wearing makeup, performing, being anonymous to everybody out there, I get a lot of female fans. I've got the wrestling and I've got the haunted houses, so I've got the darkness and evil and horror, and you know, none of it really plays into my Christian beliefs now.
The Christian life you're starting to live now, and yep.
It makes me sick to the point that I'm afraid I'll fall back into old habits.
You're different, but similar kind of thing with your job.
They basically just want it to be a party atmosphere no matter what. And unless it's like really out of control, we're supposed to take it. Even if it's people stalking me in the dressing room, if it's people following me out to my car, people who've gotten my phone numbers, people who've physically touched me, it's if they're spending enough money, it's okay.
Right.
A high school friend asked to see naked pictures of me, and I like kind of thought it was silly and funny, but people were like, this is not okay. And I thought I'd just become so numb to just people wanting like a sexualized version of myself. I feel an obligation to represent Jesus. Okay. So I'll find myself literally like praying like for 40 minutes at a time for these people to please like have some kind of revelation or have some kind of deliverance, because it's almost unbearable like how much I have to put up with. Right. It's really hard.
Right. Let me ask you this. Do you see any positive coming out of it? You know, you're both kind of working in dark places, and the Bible talks about being light and dark. Are you seeing like the effect of you being able to represent Jesus in that workplace, or not so much?
Yeah, I'm getting that all the time.
Right.
I mean, in the wrestling show, I first went off by myself to pray for our safety, and I ended up having wrestlers join me, and then...
And they're not Christians, they're guys like being drawn to that.
Right, and
That's awesome.
they've actually come to Verve on my invite, and I've actually ended up baptizing some of them.
We've seen people come to Christ. How about you? Have you seen that kind of effect at work, or?
I feel like at work, no. In my personal life, yes.
Sure.
But at work, no, not so much. I think even if people were receptive,
when you're dealing blackjack,
they might not even smoke in real life, but they're gonna smoke when they come to Vegas, and they might not drink that much in real life, but they're gonna drink when they come to Vegas. So it's not really the place to get their good person on when they come here. I feel like it's just not the place.
Yeah, it's tough. I know both of you talked about, you know, so do I quit? But on the other hand, I do, you know, maybe there is some positive impact I could have. And on the other hand, what job I don't have another job to go to. How do I pay my bills? It's not easy to quit your job. And so honestly, I can't tell you what to do. I think God needs to.
Man, as a pastor, you love your people and you want to just give them answers, but at the same time, you don't want them to become dependent on you. You want them to become dependent on God and the wisdom of the Bible and the direction of the Holy Spirit.
What I can do, and if it's all right, I want to give you just some kind of biblical principles that I think you need to kind of bring into your thinking and praying and figure out how do they weigh into your decision. So there's a verse where it talks about honoring God with our life.
In Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16, Jesus says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." So we need to be salt that gets out of the salt shaker and gives flavor to the food, right? We need to be light that is shining in the darkness, which means there are two potential problems. One is if we stay in the salt shaker, right? If we're a light that's hidden. And the other is if we get out in the world, but we have no flavor, right? If we go out into the darkness, but we're not shining the light. Christians can't stay huddled together. We need to be out in the world, but at the same time, we need to be different from the world, different in a way that shows people Jesus and that draws them to him.
Let's just take a few minutes real quick. For those of you who do believe, those of you who don't believe, I'm glad that you're here. I feel like I'm touching people that wouldn't normally have anything to do with God. I mean, we've got wrestlers praying with us that aren't Christian. God, thank you for today. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to perform for others. But there's the negative that's still there. We're not gonna have an even keeled God night the whole night. There's There's gonna be the ups and downs, and there's gonna be the temptations during and afterwards. We're gonna be doing a lot of stupid stuff out here, keep us safe. There's potential that somebody's gonna get hurt, either in the ring or after the show, depending on what decisions I make. Keep the crowd interested, let's just have a good time and put on the best show as possible. We ask this in your son's name, amen. Amen. And I just hope God lets me make the right ones and gives me the strength to do that.
You know, I've been thinking about this whole Warren and Sandy thing, and what's interesting is that what they're struggling with is exactly what every Christian should be struggling with in their lives at work, but most don't. Now, it looks different because they're in Vegas and they're performers, but it's exactly the same things. Like with Warren, I mean, the guy's trying to figure out, how do I shine God's light in the darkness at work, you know, in a kind of a dark place, which is exactly what every Christian should be trying to figure out. It looks different for him because he's you know, in a freak show and a clown and all, but it's the same issue we all struggle with.
Right, like how many Christians invite their non-Christian coworkers over?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you keep your relationship confined to work, you're not gonna end up building enough of a relationship to really share Jesus with them. But if you can invite them over, you know, then that's gonna make a difference. You'll shine the light.
Right.
And then like with Sandy, it's like she's trying to stay pure in this dark environment, in this dark workplace, and that's what everybody's supposed to do. And a lot of Christians don't do it as well as she's trying to do it.
No, like how do you have conversations that aren't gossip? How many people, you know, take office equipment or...
Office equipment? They're stealing. People are walking out with a copier, office supply. Yeah. Yeah, so Christians act the same as, you know, most everybody else. They get pulled in the gossip and they fudge their numbers on their sales reports and stuff like that. And it's like, no, we need to be pure in the darkness, just like she is. Hey, just talking about you.
How are
What's
you?
Up? Big day.
Thank you so much for coming.
What's up, Warren?
It's just time to watch me finish up.
Perfect timing. I missed the work.
You missed all the work. They just like rolled off in a big old moving truck.
Oh, the truck left?
So, decision made. I quit. And not quite sure how I feel about it yet because it's kind of tough to leave. I was just a part of this church and it's gonna be really hard to leave and say goodbye to friends in real life, and I know I couldn't do it anymore. I just prayed and prayed and prayed, and it became like really evident. You can't live your life like this. I've been kind of estranged from my family for a long time because I've been running off doing my own thing, so maybe it's a good time to reconnect.
Like, I'm happy you're here, but I'm not happy you're here. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this.
God says he honors those who honor him, and you're making the right choice, so.
It's really hard to leave Verve.
Yeah.
I know it's right.
Doesn't make it any
really
easier, I realize.
hard.
The right answers don't always help, but it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really hard. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I love you.
Get going.
I will keep in touch.
Let's get you on the road.
Love you guys. Drive carefully.
Yeah, we got a long drive.
Yeah, don't remind me.
I gotta get going. I gotta get my makeup on for work.
All right, man. Well, see ya.
See you later.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye, love.
Love you.
All right, take care.
I've decided to stay and continue doing what I'm doing. I feel that, you know, God is helping me make the right choices right now. I've had several friends come to Verve. I've actually had 2 give their lives to God and get baptized here at Verve. I've just got to continue to pray for God's support and help me with my temptations.
All right, you're gonna be all right. We'll be praying for you.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
You know, with his help, I'm comfortable in the dark. I really am, and I know I'm doing what I should be doing.
I quit. I'm going back to California, spend time with some family, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work it out, I guess. Maybe I'll be back.